You ready? Hey, everybody.
Hey, Pop.
Hello, everybody.
People in the back.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the Inner Loop.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the Inner Loop.
Without further ado.
Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get started.
We should get started. We're
Yeah.
rambling. I'm rambling.
We're going to get started.
Welcome to the Inner Loop Radio. I'm Rachel Kuntz.
And I'm Courtney Sexton.
Thank you for joining us.
If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and check out our website at theinnerlooplit.org.
For any new listeners out there, here on the Inner Loop Radio, we delve into all things creative writing, whether that be inspiration or craft, publishing or editing, how to make a living, or just how we all sit down each day in front of an empty page.
Oof, that one always gets me. But we do invite friends and local writers onto the show to talk about their writing journey, what inspires them, or to delve deeper into craft.
On today's show, we want to talk about independent presses. Independent presses are a huge part of what the Inner Loop does, as we have an entire program called Author's Corner dedicated to promoting local authors who publish with small presses. So we personally love them, but there's a lot to love. Court, what's so great about an independent press?
Oh man, I mean, I'm an indie kid at heart, just in general, with everything, so
Aren't we all?
We are. There's a lot of focused attention on their writers. They elevate writers who aren't necessarily getting those opportunities with the big five. They're generally run by really cool people. What else can I say? I don't know.
What else can I say? I'm in love.
Yeah.
For anybody listening who doesn't know, although most writers do, the big five are five major publishers that kind of corner 90% of the market. That's Penguin Random House, Hachette, Harper's, Simon & Schuster, and Macmillan. And hilariously, I heard recently that Penguin Random House and Simon & Schuster tried to merge, and the government was like, all right, that's enough.
That's a no from me, dog.
That's a no. No more taking over all of art. I mean, that's why I love independent presses, because it feels to me like it takes a lot of the commercialism out of art. And
absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if any listeners would be surprised to hear that many books that are published through independent presses win a lot of the big named awards that awards of all kinds, but also the big named ones that we've all heard of, like the National Book Award and the Pulitzer Prize. Those come from independent presses.
Yeah, because I think also another really cool thing about independent presses is they're willing to take a chance on people. They're willing to kind of maybe play with, take on an unconventional writer or book or collection that maybe would be passed up by the eye of, a more quote unquote illustrious publisher.
Right. You don't have to think about, how many books is this going to sell? Is this going to be, a hit amongst the hoi polloi, so to speak? And it sort of reminded me, as I was thinking about this, of Netflix and the whole like niche market now that
totally.
like streaming sites are taking advantage of. Whereas it used to be like just, appeal to the general audience and forget about all that weird niche stuff. But now niche is in.
Is in. It's
even for moneymakers.
Is niche mainstream now? Is indie mainstream?
So like we just have to find a way to help independent publishers, make money from the funky little weird ass books that they be publishing.
That's right. Well, I think there's also an excitement to it for those publishers, right? Because they do know, by nature of how they do what they do, there is the chance that they're going to find the diamond in the rough, that they're going to, see the thing and then like become a name, right? Like, I don't know.
And then get those coveted awards.
Exactly. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, which is entirely possible, but
I mean, isn't that all we do here on the
yeah,
Interloop Radio?
I mean, were I to work for an independent press, that's what I would be thinking.
But I don't know if you're up on the news, Court, but a distributor of independent presses books called Small Press Distribution suddenly closed recently, and they have more than 300 small publishers that they handle for.
Yeah, I think maybe we heard that at the same time when we were at the writers' conference in Bethesda a couple of weeks
Mhm.
back. Folks were talking about it. That was all the scuttle. So
It was quite the scuttlebutt.
this is scuttle.
But I think on a serious note, I think it's it's worrying
It
again with like
is.
the merger, the attempted merger of Simon and Schuster and Penguin Random House, and now like this very important distributor of independent presses is no longer a resource for them, and it was a really important resource for both independent presses and independent bookstores because if you think about it,
Right.
the bookstore only has to have this one relationship they have to maintain as opposed to 300.
Different.
And
Yeah.
now that it's not there, many have said they're not going to be able to have those same
Carry
relationships.
these. Yeah. No, it's uh, going
So
the
the
way of
lesson,
most
listeners,
things.
buy local.
That's right.
Tune into your local Authors Corner program.
That's nice plug. Nice plug.
I try. But speaking of funky, weird little books, I think we should take a little break so we can bring in our guest coming up after the break. We'll hear from Michael Tager, managing editor of Mason Jar Press. Stay tuned. Hey, Rachel here. There's a new podcast I want to tell you about, The Spark Parade. Ever wonder what makes your favorite artists tick? On the Spark Parade podcast, your host Adam Unzi geeks out with the artists and entertainers you love about their cultural spark of inspiration. You'll hear from artists like Margaret Cho on Velvet Goldmine, Chris Gedhard on Grosse Point Blank, Slater Kinney on Patti Smith's Horses, Bob the Drag Queen on The Color Purple, Fallout's Ellie Purnell on Brandy Carsley's The Story, and many more. The Spark Parade, your favorite entertainers, their favorite entertainment. Join Adam every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome back to the Interloop Radio. We've been discussing independent presses, and now we'd like to welcome Michael B. Tager, author of Pop Culture Poetry, the Definitive Edition, from Akinoga Press and managing editor of Mason Jar Press. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Mike.
So nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Love it.
That's my line.
Womp womp. Sorry about that.
And longtime friend of the Interloop, so it's so nice to finally have your voice on the podcast.
That's right.
So you're clearly very immersed in the independent press world. You're both work for one as a managing editor, and you published recently with one. Congratulations, by the way. Why don't we start with Mason Jar Press? Can you tell us kind of the origin story of that endeavor?
Yeah, I can, and
And I will.
and I will, and I'll even, extemporize. Wait, is that a word? Nope.
Extemporaneously?
There it is.
We're writers.
I'm gonna go off book a little bit too, but yeah, we started about 10 years ago. It's a little hazy when because it was not an intentional project, though it became intentional. It was a lark between me and the former editor-in-chief, Ian Anderson, who recently resigned from Mason Jar. And it was, hey, let's do this fun thing after graduating from our MFA program. And that one thing turned into another thing, which turned into another thing.
Oh, we don't know anything
that sounds
about
like the
that.
Interloop.
Familiar concept.
Yeah, right? And after, 10 years, we have 30 books, 30 authors, and came pretty close to a couple awards, including, almost won the Penn Open Book Award with Tyrese Coleman.
Yeah.
And as you said earlier, kind of one of those dreams is finding the diamond in the rough that becomes the thing and puts both the author and the press on the map,
Mm.
which we did. And now we're currently in a transition phase and going on extended hiatus while we kind of regroup and recruit new people, because we've been doing it for 10 years and it's time to kind of pass the torch along. But
Mm.
we're in conversations with a bunch of great editors, and some of the staff is staying on board, and we're confident that in about a year we'll be coming back online. And by we, I mean other people who aren't me. Though I'm staying, though I am staying on to help kind of pass along the institutional knowledge and
Sure.
get a new distributor, since we were one of the SPD folks.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Okay.
So I was gonna ask, did that development have anything to do with the timing on this decision?
Yeah, yeah, it did. We've been thinking about mm, transitioning, shutting it down for a little while. And when SPD kind of left in the middle of the night, which, to be honest, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised it happened when it did.
Mhm.
I thought it was
Mm.
going to happen in a couple years,
Okay.
not
Wow.
immediately. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
when that happened, we kind of took stock of where we were, took stock of our energy level, and thought, this might actually be a good time to to make the move. And because we weren't really impacted too much financially.
Hmm.
It's I don't know how much money we lost, but I wouldn't say it's more than $1,000. Which, do
Mm.
we like losing $1,000? No, but it's not going to it's not going to shut the door. We've always been in the black,
Hmm.
Mm.
but I don't have the energy to get a new distributor and start all that up again, and no one else does either. So it was just kind of another sign that now's the time. But other presses have been absolutely devastated by
Mhm.
SPD. I heard through the grapevine that one press, and I think they were on social. Maybe it was, I'm not even going to speak on who it might be, but they said they lost like $15,000 that they were owed.
Wow.
Now
I heard
that's
that too, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I forget what press it was. So,
Well, and for a
it,
small press, that's substantial.
oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's for a small business. Period. Like
Right.
15 grand. I mean, that's make or break.
Yeah.
Mhm. For sure.
So
So, yeah, thank you for sharing. That's such an, personal story on this subject that I feel is, maybe doesn't directly affect, each of us as writers, but it clearly has all of these ripple effects for
Hmm.
people we rely on to bring us our art. And speaking of timing and this sort of overarching pall that seems to be coming over our industry, would you recommend to
Yeah.
our listeners to start their own press? And why? Why or why not?
yes and no. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
Okay, not as dismal as I might have
Yeah.
expected.
no, of course not. I absolutely loved the last 10 years. I put a ton of art out in the world,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
and
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, Mike, but like
no,
when
it's
you
fine.
said 30 books over the time, I mean, like 3 books a year, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, and putting that out in the world and authors, getting authors to the next stage or getting them more
Hmm.
visibility. And, I built a really huge community across the country and, even across the world a bit. And
Hmm.
I would not have met the two of you if not for, well, maybe I would have, but regardless, we've worked together a couple times through Mason Jar and working with people on the West Coast, and had a conversation with one of my authors who's in Jordan. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty far
Mm.
away, and it's been fabulous, you know. And if you want to make a small press and you go into it deliberately and really think about what it entails, because one book is easy with one author
Sure.
and 3 books is easy with 3 authors, but then suddenly you have 10 authors and 3 books in production and all these projects, that you're juggling with money that's coming in and money that's going out, and having to maintain the books, and by the books I mean, your ledger.
Right. The other kind of books.
Your paycheck.
And that can be really overwhelming if it's not done with intention. And, with our degrees from University of Baltimore in publishing, we knew how to do everything in-house, but there was still a learning curve when it came to all the other things. But I spent a lot of time on the phone while we were setting it up, talking to other presses like Barrel House or Publishing Genius, and just getting words of wisdom and advice from folks who've been in the game for a while. And I think there's a reason that we've been in the black our entire time, and that we've maintained for 10 years and are able to pass the torch along. And so if you want to start a small press, absolutely do it, but take your time and do it right. And
know what you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
And, it's okay to decide maybe it's not the best idea because it is hard, but it's fun and rewarding.
Definitely. Yeah. Everything you're saying reminds me of our experience with the inner loop.
Very much so.
And it's a good thing it's rewarding, because that's pretty much all that keeps you going. So Mike, you're publishing your book with Akinoga Press. What has it been like working with them?
It's been great. As the managing editor, I have to make a lot of decisions, be a part of a lot of meetings, and kind of, help guide or think about possible concerns and everything. And in this case, I was able to kind of just turn a lot of the decision making over to the editor, who I trust his vision and his skills. And if he said, I think this is a good idea, so if I didn't care, or if I saw what he was saying, I'd be like, yep, that's a great idea. Let's do that, And that's liberating in a lot of ways, to just work with someone who you trust and let them make the decisions, because it's going to turn out well. And because I've been in the game for a little while and put out so many books, I knew what he was talking about and where he was coming from. And there was no real mystery in any of it, which the conversations were very good and very open and fruitful. And I love my book. It's very pretty,
Ooh.
It's very pretty. And
it is pretty.
Yeah. I was involved in a lot of the decisions, though at the end of the day, Michael, my publisher, he made the final calls, and I was like, cool, do your thing, bro.
Well, that was my question. Was it hard for you to kind of like step back a little after knowing how to make the sausage?
No, I'm not really a control freak. I want, if I trust with the people with whom I'm working, I can take direction just fine. It's like, oh,
it sounds like it was almost a relief the way you were talking about it. You're like, ooh, I don't have to think about any of this.
Exactly. And, I'm not a micromanager, so he made decisions. I disagreed sometimes and pushed back, but no, it's not hard at all when you trust someone.
His title's managing editor, not micromanager.
You're better than that joke, Rachel.
But I'm a mom now. I pull a few mom jokes every now and then.
I thought it was pretty good, TBH.
So, Mike, tell us about your book. Tell us about Pop Culture Poetry, the definitive collection.
It's very good. I mean,
hey,
definitively, it's very good.
Yeah.
There's another mom joke.
It started a while back, again, after I graduated my MFA, when I was given advice from an editor at Barrel House, again, that I needed to kind of tap into the weirdness that MFAs have a tendency to sand away.
Hmm,
The MFAs are great, but there's drawbacks to it as well.
totally. Hmm.
And the advice was, try to get a little weirder, get a little more raw, get a little more dirty and messy. And it was good advice. And one of the things that I decided, not not necessarily consciously, but I found myself gravitating toward poetry because I never really studied poetry. I heard a lot and read a lot and published a lot, but I never studied it or taken a class. And so for me, it was a little easier to get weird,
Hmm.
because and sort of make my own rules, as it were. And because I like pop culture, I am a man of a certain age, which means for a long time I did not know how to talk to people without talking about Seinfeld
Or
or
SNL.
or SNL or Super Mario Brothers.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I have evolved, but at the heart, I am a
Those are the big three for me. So I mean,
obviously.
Yeah, those are good
Yeah,
choices. Good choices.
thank you. And I don't know. I feel like we should talk about the things we love more often and kind of pretend that we are not fans of Linkin Park or
Oh,
chili
God.
dogs.
yeah, that one doesn't resonate with
Courtney's
me.
face.
Sorry.
Oh,
Courtney is a music snob, everyone. I don't know if you know this about her.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So can we hear some poems, Mike?
absolutely, you can. Let's see here. All right, so this is the first poem that I feel it was the first poem in the collection and the last poem I wrote. This, I think this one came in 3 days before it went to print. So
Wow.
it's called Requiem for the Only Idol I've Ever Truly, Deeply Loved. Jan Brady gets me. Yeah. She's the OG Gen X. You want latchkeys? I got 20. Benign neglect is a hell of a drug. Not even a sonar blip, looked at but never seen. Pleading for love without the vocabulary of vulnerability. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. I always say I'm being funny, but I'm never joking. It's how I disguise truth, because I don't know how to lie. Jan didn't know either. Jan shot straight, both barrels to the heart, prime time, soul bearing. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. We're not saying what you think we're saying. That word does not mean what you think. We're all middle children. We don't always have the language to expose our breastbones. Here's Jan's Rosetta Stone. Please see me. Please hear me. Please love me. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
I
So
love
good. I
that.
love how you weave like these references in with like
Yes.
really serious thoughts. It's perfect.
I could be wrong, but I feel like I caught a few other and I don't know if it was intentional. I imagine it probably was, but it almost seemed like a refrain from The Little Mermaid at one point, and in the title even it was like, is that it felt like truly, madly, deeply. It was just like there was a lot, and I was like, okay, are these
I got that one. I got that one. I got that one.
No, but I mean, I feel like sometimes we don't even realize when those pop culture references are infiltrating,
Totally.
ourselves, our writing, etc. So maybe they were intentional, maybe they weren't, but it works.
Thank you. This one's called Not America's Top Model.
Nice.
Someone asked me if Taye Diggs was in this reality show about crazy half children trying to be famous, and I said, no. His eyes shatter television screens with crystal purity. Not all beautiful black men with poetry hearts and falcon wings look the same. But it turned out it was you. This one is called Scott Leo. I don't care that Tay is not your real name. I still want you elbow deep inside me. Because your heart is go, go, gold, and your teeth are an orchard of sunflowers, an ocean of fractured molten glass, a doubloon-filled dungeon. In my sparrow heart you are Tay, not Scott Leo. And I love you. Do.
Who doesn't? Who
Yeah,
doesn't love
I
Tay
mean,
Diggs?
those eyes.
Lovely.
Would you like one or two more? Or
How
are
about
we
one
good?
more?
One more. Okay. Courtney, I believe you love Justin Bieber. So I'm going to read a Justin Bieber poem just for you.
You know,
She like physically repelled it from the screen.
Yeah.
You know, my partner always jokes that he is a believer. So, you know, maybe this one's for him.
No.
No,
No,
it's for you.
for me.
Yeah. There's, I
Okay.
think, 8 Justin Bieber poems. And
Yeah, I
This-
am okay.
this series is called I'm a Belieber. So,
Yeah. Mhm. Okay.
Nice.
which is, yes, a reference to the Monkees.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah.
All right.
Hey, hey.
This is Justin Bieber as Forgotten Titan. Please, Lord of Mountains and Twilight, your breaches of fire and triple mouths scare me. Don't hurt me, Bieber, please. The smoke comes from inside the house and carries you through the chimney. The city is barred, but still you escape, unleashed from Earth's mantle. Who hurt you, my bud? Psych. I know it's everyone. I'm sorry. Want a hug?
I can't. I'm sorry, Mike.
love
I
it.
can't with that one.
I can't with that one. I can with all of them. I love
Yes.
them all. Thank you so much, Mike. Thanks.
It's awesome.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Of course.
What a really fun collection. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
You can buy Mike's funky little book, Pop Culture Poetry, the definitive edition, from your favorite independent bookstore or directly from Akinoga Press. Mike, will you stick around for a little game?
I would love to play a game.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
We all love games. So up next, Rachel is going to test, apparently, our pop culture and literary knowledge. So
At the same time.
stay tuned.
Hey, Rachel here. There's a new podcast I want to tell you about, The Spark Parade. Ever wonder what makes your favorite artists tick? On the Spark Parade podcast, your host Adam Unzi geeks out with the artists and entertainers you love about their cultural spark of inspiration. You'll hear from artists like Margaret Cho on Velvet Goldmine, Chris Gedhard on Grosse Pointe Blank, Slater Kinney on Patti Smith's Horses, Bob the Drag Queen on The Color Purple, Fallout's Ellie Purnell on Brandy Carsley's The Story, and many more. The Spark Parade, your favorite entertainers, their favorite entertainment. Join Adam every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to the Interloop Radio.
We turn now to a little game I like to call Indie Press or Indie Rock Band.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like this is perfect for both of you. Courtney being the music snob that she is, and Mike being an expert of both poetry and independent presses. You're going to kill, okay? But I have very strict rules. You have 3 seconds to respond.
Oh my
Can't
god.
think too hard.
Yeah,
This is
see,
rapid
now
fire.
I feel like my brain power is not going to work for this, but that's fine.
It's fine. I can.
The
I
goal
can
is
think-
just to be funny in the end, okay? You don't have to be super smart.
Okay.
Awesome. Great.
Love that.
Love that.
Low expectations. Let's hear it for him.
Hey, it's hard to be funny. Okay.
It is.
It is. All right. Indie press or indie rock band? Blackwater.
Rock
Press.
band.
It's a press. Black Lawrence.
Press.
Press.
Black Keys.
Band.
Rock band.
Correct. Those last two was correct. Black Squirrel.
Band.
Band.
I meant Black Square, but we should come up with Black Squirrel. Somebody out
Squirrel's
there,
good.
Black Squirrel is for the taking.
It's definitely a band, duh.
I would name everything Black Squirrel.
Right?
Yes.
Anvil.
Press.
Press. Alt J.
Press.
That's a rock band.
What? Is it also? Now I need to look this up.
Oh,
No,
I think
don't look it
alternating
up.
press.
Paramore.
Band.
Correct. Counterpoint.
Press.
Yes. Pine Grove.
Band.
Press?
Yes.
Yeah,
Band.
it's definitely a band. They're-
I'm really bad at trivia.
Oh my god, she was just like acknowledging all over us. Okay.
No.
Deerhoof.
Band.
Press. Nope. Band.
And Milkweed.
Press.
Yes. Feeble Little Horse.
Oh,
Band?
That's a band.
All right.
Squirrel Flower.
Band?
It's a band. Good job.
Yes. Okay, Courtney.
Little Puss.
Band?
That's a press.
Little
Ah.
Puss. All right.
Pale Hound.
Oh, band.
Yes.
Sure.
Mike's like, if you know, I'm just gonna go with
When
that.
Courtney seems sure, just don't bother answering. Phonograph with an F.
Press.
That feels right.
It's
I'll
a
go.
press.
Yeah.
$2 radio.
Ooh,
Press.
I like that name. I'm gonna say press.
It is a press. Boy Genius.
Oh, band.
Yeah.
Hanging Loose.
Press.
Band?
Press. Wet Leg.
Band.
That's a band. That's a band.
Say band.
It's a
It
band.
is a band. It's a band.
I would like to
Cross-legged.
delve into that psychology a little bit more, but yeah.
Actually, listen to them. They're not bad.
Cross-legged.
Band.
Press?
Band. Rose Metal.
Press.
Sure. Okay.
Press. Baby Metal.
Band.
Yes.
Baby Metal is amazing. I fucking love Baby Metal. I highly recommend them.
Oh my god, you don't know them?
New Directions.
Oh,
New
band.
Directions with an S?
Like One
Maybe it's New
Direction?
No, it's New Directions with an S.
I
And
think it's a
press.
Oh,
That's a press.
shit. All right.
That's a press.
And last but
Failed.
not least, Flood.
What?
Flood.
Band?
Band.
It's both.
Oh!
Oh.
I like that. I like that little trick you did there.
I feel like I made a little bit of ground toward the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were getting the hang of it. I love it. I love it.
That was a fun
No,
one.
seriously.
Good work, Rach.
Thanks.
Baby Metal is, I was listening to them yesterday. I'm not joking.
No.
That's their
Noted.
song that I really like. Hold on. No.
It's going on the playlist.
There we go.
On the playlist.
That could be our outro music today.
Baby Metal.
Oh my God. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on the show, chatting with us, and playing our game.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me and for being you.
It was good to see you as always. Tons of fun. If you would like to learn more about the Inner Loop and all of our programming, visit us at theinnerlooplit.org, where you can also donate to support us and local literature and stuff like partnerships with Mason Jar. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Twex at the Inner Loop Lit.
Today's episode was produced by me, Rachel Kuntz. Our theme music is by Andrew Logan, and our technical advisor is James Skinner. Thanks again to Michael Tager for joining us on the show. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I encourage you to start an indie rock band,
Or better yet, leave us a review.
such as the sweet symphonic sounds of Courtney and Rachel pierce the soul in that good hurt kind of way.
Oh, I love the good hurt. Or like, the Inner Loop would be the best rock band name. All right, I'm failing. Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't quit your day job.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Subscribe.
Subscribe so you can get inspired, get focused, dish, and get lit.
On the Inner Loop Radio.